Greetings everyone, welcome back to Minecraft. Today we'll take a look at structure blocks. However, I do not have a structure block with me, so we'll be using commands to get one. To open up the command menu, or actually the chat window, you can either press T or press / button. Once you've done this, you'll see you opened up the chat menu, and now you just enter / give @p, press tab if you have this button because it's got auto completion, Minecraft structure block. Boop. Press enter and you got one structure block. Hooray! So let's place down a structure block and take a look at this mysterious technical block that's designed for map makers, shall we? So you'll see when you opened up the structure block menu, you'll see this window. This one is for can be only used by people from Mojang, so we don't have to worry about this one. Now you want to press this button that says data. If you press it, it will switch other modes. Now you'll see it's currently in save mode. And the texture of the structure block has changed accordingly, according to the mode it's in. You also see it says save right there, save, and you do this again. You're turning to load mode, load from a file. You tap this again, it becomes corner mode, which allows you to measure the structure size that's going to help you to save it. Okay, great, so that's it. So here I have prepared a little structure that we can use to save. This little structure can demonstrate every feature I want to talk about structure blocks. So basically it's got different types of blocks, 5 I think, yes, and as well as an entity. And these blocks have are facing different direction, means that they have different data values stored in them. So, to save a structure, the safest way to do is to use the corner mode of the structure block. So first you want to place down structure blocks that's like directly outside that's like lined up on the two ends of the diagonal of the structure. So if you take a look at the structure, you'll see it's actually a 3x4 cuboid, I think that's what it's called. I'm not good at math, sorry for that. So first you place down the structure blocks on the corners, and when you're including an entity, well, I'm gonna talk about that later, but so let's get this set up, shall we? Oh god, what is this? Sorry guys, it's my antivirus. It told me there's some problem, but we can solve that later. So right now let's back to the recording. So you want to place down 2 structure blocks like this, and you want to open up one of them, turn it to corner mode, and then you enter a name of the structure. I'm going to call this YouTube, because why not? YouTube. Great. And you press done. You'll see the name YouTube pops up above the structure block, above next to corner. Now you do the same to the other structure block, corner, and into your structure name, YouTube. Done. And now you go to another structure block that you can place down anywhere else in the world. Oh, well, better not outside too far, otherwise these structure blocks will be unloaded from memory and you won't be able to use them. And then you open up save menu and you enter the structure name as well, so in this case YouTube, and you press detect. Once you press detect, you can see that the corner blocks outline the structure that you are saving, and it's like diagonally, right? So from this corner down to this corner, of the structure. And when you need to make sure that all the blocks you want to save are inside this box that drawn you. And entity, well, you don't have to make sure the whole entity is inside, you just have to make sure that its feet is inside this box. Or if it's a flying entity, then it's safer to include all of it, but for most times you just include the entity's feet because that's its point of origin. Right, so now you come to your save block. Now you can either do, there's two ways you can do this. One way is to, oh yes, and if you want to save the entity, turn on the include entity option. So I'm turning this on and done. So to save a structure, there's two ways you can do this. One is that you can press the save button, or the other way is to, oh, this is a pretty interesting way actually. You can actually use redstone to save, to activate structure blocks. Hey, look at that, new recipe unlocked. So we can also do this, and hop a button on here. And when I press a button, this doesn't work. Okay, don't use redstone. Redstone is for load only. Okay, so you still have to manually press save, and you get a message that says structure saved as YouTube. Hooray! Right, so now you save the structure inside your well, yes, a folder in your computer, right? So now let's talk about loading structures. To load a structure, you will have to place down a structure block like this, and you have to turn it into load mode like this, load mode. You enter the name of the structure, in this case it's YouTube. What was that? Okay, now we want to include entities and want to show bounding box to be on. Now we press load. When you press load, it will prepare the structure for you, as you can see here, drawn out the boxes like this. And you'll notice this blue line and this red line, this green line. These are the X, Y, Z and Z direction of the structure, as you'll see when you're saving it. This is help you to judge like which way your structure is facing. So you can use this relative position to change where you want your structure to be, right? So I'm gonna let's see which axis is X. I think this is X. Right, so let's increase X by 1, see what happens. Nope, this is X. Okay, so increase it by X, increase, oh wait, no, decrease Y by 0. Okay, so this is X, so the red one is X, the green one is Y, and the yellow one, the blue one is Z, right? Like a right hand. Is it the right hand? Yes, it's the right hand rule. Okay. So now we can press, so now we got the structure in a desirable position. No, it's not a desirable position. Okay, now let's press load, shall we, and see what happens. Boom! We got the structure here with all the blocks facing the correct direction and the entity that's facing the correct direction as well. That's pretty fun. So about structure blocks, there's other things you can do when you load the structure. For example, let's bring this up a block so it's easier to see. And you can see here you got these buttons. These buttons are used to rotate the structure. So now it's currently rotated by 0 degrees, means it's facing the same direction when it was saved. You can rotate it by 90 degrees. Oh, for the weather. Wait. Okay, where we're up to. Okay, you can rotate it by 90 degrees, which is clockwise when you look from above. Yes, it's clockwise. And now the structure is over here because it's rotated by its origin, which is this point where x, y, z axis meet. And now when you load the structure, you'll see it becomes here, with everything's relative position, relative rotation that's still the same. Like here the armor stand is facing the coal block, here it's still facing the coal block. Hooray! And is that a rain sound, or it's just a truck outside my window? I think it's a truck outside my window. You can also rotate by 180 or 270 if you want, but we're gonna stick to 0 now. And you also see this button. So this is the, I believe it's the mirror button. Yes, this is the mirror button. So this button, when it's pressed, it allows the structure to be mirrored on the x-axis. So now you see the x is going this way. No, yes, x is going this way and z is going this way. But you do this, and then the x-axis is like the mirror line. So the z-axis is going this way. Now let's load this. You'll see it's becoming an exact mirror of our original structure. Fascinating, isn't it? Now let's destroy the structure and try the other options. So you also got this option, which is mirroring on the z-axis. So the z-axis is a mirror line and the x is going in a different direction. Now let's load this. You'll see it becomes also a mirror of our original structure. That's the original, that's the new one. Fascinating, isn't it? Mojang used structure blocks to create Ender City and Igloo, and basically all the new structures since 1.9. And yes, that's the two mirror modes. So this is mirror on X, this is mirror on Z. Great. So let's to load the structure. There's also another way to do it, which was the one that I forgot. So it can activate via redstone. So you lay down some wire leading to it, and you press a button on the floor, and then when you press a button, boom, structure is popping up. Amazing, right? That's why it's useful for map making, because you can design contraptions where when you press the button and then the house suddenly pop out, right? Another thing about the load feature is that it can allow you to randomly break the structure. From here, this one is called structure integrity and seed. So now it's at 1.0, means that all the blocks and entities will be loaded from the original structure. But we can change this. Say if we turn this to 0.5 to make it more dramatic, right? 0.5, and then the seed value is basically a, like, for the randomizer to decide like which block will disappear and which one will load, right? If you use the same seed value, then the blocks that disappear and the blocks that remain will stay the same no matter how many times you load it, like your world, right? You set up two worlds on the same seed value and they will look exactly the same. So let's give this a seed, I don't know, 999 for example. And then you save the change and load, boom. So the coal block and some bone blocks disappeared, but the armor stand remained as a 0.5 since we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elements. So 3 of them disappeared and 3 of them remained. So why don't we try a different seed value? Oh, a different position, of course. Let's turn this to -4, so it shifts over here. And we give a seed, I don't know. I don't want 0 or trigger random seed, but I don't like that. And to control everything. So let's give the seed 21. Done, save it, and load, boom. You'll see still 3 elements remained, but it's different than the last time. This is quite amazing. So now let's talk about other load situations, shall we? This is basically like how you would normally load a structure into thin air. But now what if we're loading a structure into another structure? Like this block of stone here. Well, it's not another structure, it's like a part of the world into blocks that's not air, right? So since this is made of bone and coal, if I want this to be a fossil to be placed underground in my adventure map, or any other people's adventure map, maybe yours. So I place down a structure block, I turn this into load, I enter the name YouTube, and including entity on, load to prepare the position, and we change its relative position to be the one we desire as a place we desire. I think I did this. I think I changed this a bit far. Yeah, we'll load it here. So now it's in the right place, right? And when you press load, you would expect it to load the bone and the coal as well as the armor stand only, right? And then the rest will be remaining as stone we pre-placed in the world. But when you press load, you'll find that it replaced everything inside this box, right? So the stone is gone, and what are you gonna do? Are you gonna place down stone by hand? Cause that's a bit impractical. Say if you got a giant castle and you want to just put it down like in your adventure map, when the player press a button and then the castle just disappears in the mountain, right? You can't place it by hand, so how are we gonna do this? Well, there's actually a pretty easy way. So now you want to open up the chat menu or the command menu, whatever you call it, using the method I taught you, and then give @p Minecraft structure void. There's a block called structure void, and we want this. It says void. So you press enter, and you got this interesting looking fella who looks like a barrier block but with a different color. And now we'll have to change the weather here. So what's basically happening here is that the structure, because air is a block, right? What do you think that's nothingness? There's actually a block called air. So we can demonstrate this by like this. So set block that place, this place I'm pointing at, Minecraft air, right? That's air. I press enter, and then you see this block disappears, but it's not disappearing, it's just being replaced with an air block. So basically this is what's happening here. The structure block, that's this is the comprehensive way to no, that's a corner. Save, and yes, show invisible blocks is off. If you turn it on and you press OK, you actually see that these are invisible air blocks. It also saved with the structure, right? So when it load, the air blocks have replaced these stone. So how are we gonna fix this? Well, that's where structure void comes into place. So you can replace these air with structure void block, and what's going to happen is that when saving the structure, it's gonna go through all the blocks in here, and then it's gonna see the structure void, and then it will say, okay, there's a structure void, so apparently the player don't want me to save anything here, so this place will just be nothingness, right? There'll be no air, no other block, and the structure void itself will not be saved. That's very important. It will not be saved. So if you replace all these air blocks with structure voids, then you try the same experiment. Now let's resave this. So save it again. So we override the original structure, and we load it onto this identical stone block here. Load YouTube. Load to prepare. Relative position -3 and 1. Right. So this is the exact same duplicate of that stone block, and this video is never being edited in any way, shape, or form, right? So it's all real time. Now we press load again. Watch the magic. Oh, actually, no. Let's not do that. Let's just watch the magic this way, right? It's more fun with a button. And okay, so we can see everything. Now you press the button. Keep your eye onto the structure, onto the stone block, and boom! What's happening? Oh, look at this. So it loaded the structure. You can tell by the bone that's extending out here in the coal block, but the stone have remained thanks to structure void. So this is pretty like this is how Mojang designed fossils in Minecraft, right? When they wanted to place them underground and without air, so they use structure void to tell the structure block that there should not be any block in the space, right? And so when loaded, it says, oh, okay, let's load the structure called YouTube. And then when you press the load button or the redstone button, and then it says, okay, so I place down these bone block, and I place down the coal, and I place down the armor stand, which is in where does the armor stand go? Oh, no. Oh, yes, I see where the armor stand goes. So the armor stand, because we turned off including entity. Oh, yes, the armor stand's back here. And so we loaded the armor stand. And what about the rest area? Should this be air? Should this be, oh, it's structure void, there should be nothing. And so it just saved, it loaded nothing in there. That's how the stone got preserved. So now we can just like archaeologists and dig up all these things and reveal our beautiful fossil underneath with a creepy armor stand sticking out of it. And that's basically it for today. If you like my video, just please leave a comment, like, or just subscribe in general. And in the meantime, this is where I get off.